This is the story of Isana Ragna. Isana Ragna was raised in a small village in what is now known as the Forest of Adderley. She grew up with her sister Ivania. Now Isana was a very outgoing girl. She always ran through the woods, climbing trees and sword fighting with the other children in the village. Her sister Ivania was a very quiet, shy girl who liked to mix herbs and make medicine and potions. Now Senka was a young woman who grew up in a fortress. Her father was one of the greatest warlords ever to be known in the kingdom of Adderley. Her mother died when she was young, so she was raised by dictators and warlords trained in the art of battle from the time she could walk. Her father also worships the ancient shadow spirits from the beginning of Faenbel. Shadow spirits were frowned upon all over the realm, but her father didn't care and raised her in these evil ways. One morning Isana and Ivania went into the forest to find fruits and vegetables for dinner. They were walking through a group of trees when clouds covered the sun, and the ground began to shake. The two sisters looked at each other in shock. At a moment's notice, two shadow-like creatures appeared and grabbed Ivania and took her away. Isana tried to help her, but before she knew it, Ivania was gone. Isana ran home to get help, but what she found destroyed her world. Isana ran for what felt like ages. She finally made it back to her home. She fell to her knees when she saw the sight of her home. It was engulfed in purple flames. The flames were too large to try to save anything from her home. Everything was gone. Isana was crying when she noticed something moving in the flames. It was a woman. She came out of the flames laughing. She looked at the fire and said, "May the Ithi be ever restored." Then she disappeared. Isana ran from the fire and back into the forest. She ran until she couldn't anymore. She collapsed at the bottom of a great big tree. She sat on the roots of the tree when she heard a voice. A beautiful woman appeared in front of Isana. The woman looked at Isana and smiled. She said, "Hello, my name is Aura, my dear. Why are you crying?" Isana looked at Aura and broke down crying. She explained everything that happened, from her sister's disappearance to her home being burned down in purple flames. Aura took Isana's hand and welcomed her into her home. Aura brought Isana into her kitchen. They began to talk about the events happening in Isana's life. Isana talked about the fire and the strange girl when Aura asked if the girl had any markings. Isana thought back and realized that she had a purple and black design on her stomach. Aura looked down and sighed. She told Isana that the girl who set her home on fire was the girl who made her sister disappear with the shadow creatures. Aura told Isana that the girl was named Senka. She is a very evil girl raised by a family that worships the shadow spirits known as the Ithi. Aura walked to the kitchen window and closed the curtain. She lowered her voice and said, "I am a part of an order trying to extinguish the shadow spirits and the Ithi. We are called the Order of the Opal Light. Isana, we are a very secretive order, and not many people know about us for our family's safety, but I can teach you how to defeat Senka if you are willing." Isana agreed. Aura brought Isana to a hidden lake behind her home. Aura said ancient spirits blessed the lake to give those willing to be given the knowledge and power to defeat evil. She was given a magic sword that, with one hit, would destroy the Senka and send her to Kriesdan. That day Aura trained Isana for the battle to stop Senka. She could not defeat the Ithi, but she could avenge her sister, which meant the most to Isana. Senka was very busy while Isana and Aura were training. She walked through the forest, summoning shadow spirits. She was preparing her army for the fight of Senka's life. Isana waited for Senka in the middle of the forest. She was ready for this battle. She was ready to avenge her sister. Shadows moved between the trees. Isana knew the battle was on. Senka sent her creatures after Isana. Isana dodged them. She went after Senka with her sword, but Senka used shadow magic to disappear. Isana stood still to listen for footsteps. She heard Senka behind her and threw mud at her so she could be visible again. Senka jumped back to try to get the mud off of her. While distracted, Isana hit Senka with her sword. Senka's face was content. She looked up at Isana and said, "The Ithi will never be defeated, Isana." With those last words, Senka and the shadow creatures vanished. Isana won the battle. Senka was defeated. She avenged her sister, even though it still isn't the same as having her around. Isana had no home, so she wanders around the realm fighting the Ithi where she sees them. Isana was the first to defeat them, so they called her Queen Isana Ragna, who conquered the Ithi.